Hey everyone, due to the sensitive nature of many of the topics that I talk about, my videos generally do not get monetized. So if you'd like to donate at all in any capacity, there are links down below, specifically a Patreon. Thank you very much everybody for watching. Okay, next let's talk about Tony Lopez. Okay, Tony Lopez, here's the situation with Tony Lopez. Tony Lopez at the time was a 20-year-old man interacting, like sexting with 16-year-olds and up. I think that the and up is very relevant because he was talking to 17, 18, and 19-year-olds. They just didn't come forward. There was one scenario where he was talking to a 15-year-old. I have a whole video about it. She was trying to catch him by talking to him. But the thing is that she never told him her age. And the only time that she may have, which she didn't prove, there was like a Snapchat sent where he just said back to her, "Oh, you're young though." But she sent one of those it was a reaction to like an image. So we can assume maybe it was her birthday, but we don't know. And I don't know why she didn't just click on the picture. You know how Snapchat works. You could click on it in the past, like the mention, the story, whatever, the timeline. And she didn't show us that. The thing is, though, that just making it comparable to EDP, the EDP situation, they established with proof, hey, I'm 13. I'm 13 over and over again, getting him to understand that so that there was no question that he was talking to a 13-year-old. Whereas we don't see that with Tony Lopez, right? So, unfortunately, we don't have this thing where he was 15 talking to or 19, 20, you're talking to a 15-year-old. We have 16 and 20 years old, which I absolutely think is gross, but I wouldn't call it predatory behavior.
No, he's another one where, like, if he received pictures, charge him with that.
Yeah, I think he did.
But I don't know if I would call him. I mean, I do know I would not call him a pedophile, at least.
No, I wouldn't call him a pedophile.
But I don't know if he's really a predator. I think he may be another one like James Charles, who's like in this like weird circle where but I think in the circle of like not valuing like the difference in age and experience.
Right. Can I just say one thing? When it comes to Tony Lopez versus James Charles was caught multiple times and never changed his MO. That's the biggest problem I have. Whether it's predatory or not, it's inappropriate, and he never wanted to change, which shows entitlement to me. Tony Lopez was caught, and then he made like an apology. It wasn't super direct. He's like, I should be more. Basically, he was like, I'm sorry for any interactions I had that were inappropriate. I should be being better as a big platformer. And then he stopped. To me, that shows enough that he's like cognizant of himself, and he fucked up. He was a 20-year-old fucking around 16-year-olds because in his state 16 was legal that he was from. And
I feel like that part is always forgotten.
Yeah, right. And people, and like now, like he was socially educated and like he moves on. I think Tony Lopez gets too much shit for what's going on. And actually, I don't think Andre Lopez gets enough shit. His brother, who's 23, who fucked allegedly a 13-year-old or 14-year-old.
That's just so he's how old, Andre?
23.
He's 23. So you're out of college having sexual relations with like a seventh grader?
Fourth, yeah. That makes it even worse.
That's what I'm saying. The school perspective truly helps.
You know, it's one of those things because apparently what happened, and this is all alleged because not a lot of information came out, which is probably why nobody cares about the Andre Lopez situation to the degree that they should. But he was 23, and apparently this 14-year-old came over. They said that they were their sister said that they were 18, and they came into a hype house. Whatever hype house it was, and then they got drunk and interacted. My thing is that first of all, I don't know how you can't tell a 14-year-old is 14-year-old as a 23-year-old.
As a 23,
it's one thing to get duped as like a 20-year-old, maybe like a 19-year-old, maybe you get duped, but like 14 to 18. My biggest thing is that you went to a hype house, and it's a business hype house. Hype houses are businesses. People don't seem to realize that. Anybody who enters a hype house, in my opinion, and I don't think that this is a hot take, should absolutely be ID'd very hard. So I think it's Andre's fault, but let's say it's not. It's absolutely the hype house's fault. There should at least be a charge of some kind of a charge about like a minor being exposed to like whatever. Endangering a minor.
Endangerment of a minor.
Yeah.
And like the thing is like, do I necessarily agree with like the IDing whoever's coming in? No.
You're a nerd then.
I don't care, but like
I think everybody should have to get ID'd going into a hype house.
But why is there anything present that they should be ID'd for?
I guess I get. Well, they had alcohol in the hype house.
Why is there alcohol in the hype house?
Yeah, well, especially
if your audience and who you're catering to are fucking children, why are you throwing a party with your... First of all, why are you throwing a party with your fans? Unless it's like a fan service event.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure of the specifics
so
of it.
That's why
I think it might have been a private party where they linked up through like Snapchat. I don't think it was a fan party. I think they linked up and there was alcohol there. My thing, though, is like, I don't think that you're looking at it, in my opinion, enough from like a business perspective. This is a business. And if you have somebody come into your house that happens to be a minor and they drink, that's 100% on you.
Oh yeah, just like any other.
So just so you guys, just so you guys know, like, let's say I have a kid, and this is my house. I have a kid, and they bring their friends over, and I leave the house, and the friend decides to drink. That's my fault. It's 100% my fault. That's how I feel about the hype house, and they should be more responsible with that platform. And that's the thing that I find that's like really disgusting, is that they should be treating it more like a business and like more of an understanding. The very reckless attitude that they had, I think, is a big deal. But people don't talk about it enough. People just simply kind of move on from it. They don't really care. It's rather weird to me.
You know, like Andre Lopez could have looked at her and been like, oh, she's 14. Like, that's on him. But I feel like the environment that was created is whoever's in charge of this hype house.
So we're saying that, like, right, that makes sense. Like, I don't think that it's one of those things where Andre's probably like, yeah, I don't care enough to, like, that's one of the problems. But that's one of the problems, though, because, like, when you look at a 14-year-old, you get to make, and they say they're 18, you get to make the decision in your head. Is that verbal recognition enough for you to be happy with? And these kids are these 23-year-olds are like, yeah, that's fine. Like, they don't actually care. They just care to have plausible deniability.
And that's what I was just gonna say, is like, do I think he's a predator based on that one event? No. Do I think he's a piece of shit? Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, he's just like a typical, like, slamming whatever he could get piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of what it was.
Legally, we don't care what happens to him. That's fair.
I mean, I wouldn't say that much. Like, if the girl wants to press charges, go at it, girl. And, like, have him, like, you know, get charged with whatever.
Yeah, I think
but, like, he's not someone that I value and I think should be, like, the poster child or poster man for,
like,
predators.
Predatory. Yeah, that's true.
I just think that he's a fucking pig.
Absolutely. I get that. So yeah, I agree with that. It's so crazy because, like, it's impossible to have these, like, long form like conversation, because all over TikTok it's a bunch of, like, virtue signaling and, like, oh, pedophile bad. Like, yeah, we know predators are bad, but people don't contextualize it correctly. And what ends up happening is that when you throw people like EDP in the same pot as somebody like Tony Lopez, you're bringing EDP down to that level. You're diminishing what it means to be a groomer and a pedophile and a predator. And then all of a sudden we just go around throwing these things around and we don't actually provide proper context. And that makes it more difficult to go after, like, real predators as the time goes on. It's a pretty violent and vicious game when on social media, of getting sucked into the public eye and wanting to perform for them rather than trying to do the right thing. And I have to say, as a content creator myself, that my biggest thing was not being influenced by my audience. And, like, I think I've moved from that, but I was doing that for a couple of months. And that, like, in my opinion, that watered down my platform in a way where I felt like I couldn't live with myself. And I don't know how other people can live with themselves, being basically just puppets for what their audience wants rather than trying to educate their audience, especially educational TikTok creators that exist in a similar sphere to me.
Well, that goes with my theory earlier, is that these people don't have fucking depth of thought.
Hey everyone, if you liked that video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to follow my Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, Discord, and TikTok. All links are in the description. Also, check out my Patreon if you'd like to support me even more than you already do. Thank you so much, everyone. I love you all.